has risen again.
We are back.
Welcome back after a little hiatus. We are here at the Weekly Comment. My name is Jonathan McHugh. My lovely co-host is...
And I am Tamara Conniff.
That's right. We got a great show for you in the middle of summer, and we have a very summery fellow with us, Lance Sloane, head of digital productions for Warner Brothers.
A summery fellow?
Yeah, he's dressed summery today. He'll talk about his new series, H+, which is fantastic.
Super excited about that. And we have a very, very special segment today. Singer-songwriter Rodriguez and the subject of the award-winning documentary Searching for Sugarman has given us an exclusive interview and performance. We're going to go behind the scenes with him and the film's director, Malik Benjelloul. But first...
That very well.
Benjelloul.
Yeah,
but first, what time is it? What time is it?
It's news time, baby. Time for the news.
It is time for the Comment News. We just can't get enough of Carly Rae Jepsen's Call Me Maybe, which still holds at #1 on the Ultimate chart. Even the Cookie Monster did a cover,
I did not hear that.
And it was called Share Me Maybe.
Oh my God.
It is awesome. You can
doing this thing, right?
You can actually see it on thecomet.com. And meanwhile, Flo Rida's Whistle, which is a very how-to song, jumps up 5 spots to #3.
And as everyone has heard by now, Tyler Lopez leaving the building.
Adios.
I wonder what's going to happen to our friend Randy. Will it be interesting to see what happens?
The dog and Ryan Seacrest still remain.
Yeah, well, we'll see. They need to blow it up and start over because that's the way life is. So you just
and
keep
also,
it moving.
it seems Charlie Sheen really wants a judge's seat.
That's just exactly what America wants.
Yeah, you know,
more train wreck TV. Bring it on, Charlie.
In other news this week, iconic rock bands are back. Green Day just released their new single, Oh Love, off their upcoming trilogy, Un, Dos, Tres. And No Doubt dropped their first single in 10 years. It's called Settle Down. It's a very ska dance
I love their ska
hall.
stuff. That's where they won my heart.
And they still
with the
look
ska.
great. Gwen Stefani.
Like the Dirty Heads, we need to get them back on the show.
Yeah, we got to get them on the show.
That.
But now, this is really special. This was just an amazing experience.
Yeah, it's the only time we've ever
us.
pre-taped a segment, and we don't do it too often, but I saw this movie, and I saw this guy at Sundance, and it's an unbelievable story that this director Malik came up with.
And you guys are in for a super treat, so we are going to go straight to Rodriguez and Searching for Sugarman. We are thrilled to have the artist Rodriguez and filmmaker Malik Benjelloul here with us from the film Searching for Sugarman. Truly an amazing piece of art. It's won a number of awards already. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much for coming
Thank
on.
you so much for being here.
Good to be here.
You are a poet.
Thank you very much.
You are a true poet. Now, the story is so extraordinary, it's almost like, you know, when they say life is stranger than fiction. This story is truly stranger than fiction. So I really want to first, Malik, give us a little background on finding this story and the making of the film, and then we're going to get some details from Rodriguez.
I was basically traveling around looking for stories in Africa and South America 6 years ago. And in Cape Town I met the detective who found that Rodriguez was alive. I don't know if I should just tell you briefly what the story is about. Please. I mean, it's about a man, this man, who made an album in the early 70s, which was a masterpiece. The producers were working with Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder, and they say that this was the best album we ever did. And the album flops.
And when we say masterpiece, I mean literally Rodriguez as a poet on par with Bob Dylan at the time. I mean, truly a beautiful, beautiful piece of work. I just had to put that in.
We'll test his vocals later and see.
Right.
It's beautiful, beautiful. So go ahead.
So he tries again, and the same result. Another flop, it sells literally nothing. And he understands that I need to find something else to do with my life. And he starts to work in construction in Detroit. Really hard manual labor. And never learns that somehow one of those albums, one of those maybe 100 ever sold, got to South Africa. And in South Africa, Rodriguez became more famous than the Rolling Stones. He sold 10 times platinum. He became and is still one of the greatest artists there ever been. in South Africa.
And not just as an artist, but I mean, during that time, it was, you know, the anti-apartheid movement, and you know, you as a songwriter, when you made the music, was very much about, you know, the working man and the struggle and Detroit and what was happening in the United States at that time, and it became the voice of people in South Africa. What was your creative inspiration when you were making the music initially? And this is for you.
Oh, well, the social realism of it, I think, is with the apartheid issue. You know, and it's a glimpse of it. It takes place at the same time. And in America, we have students' demonstration against the war. We have students burning the draft cards, young bloods going to Canada. So we had to, you know, and get a lot too much of that, and there goes that section of the country. So anyway, so there's a lot of young bloods in this in this film, you know, that were young bloods but soldiers then, and so it seems that there was a lot of soldiers in my audience, and they're Afrikaans, is my quote-unquote fan base in South Africa. So it's a beautiful country, gorgeous people.
And you've toured there how many times?
I've been down there 4 times, one tour 12 cities, so I've seen a lot of Australia, but the problems there are just like in the United States, I think, about the economic situation and housing. Ordinary rights like water rights or electric rights are being sought.
And your daughter ended up settling there, right?
Yes, she's my daughter Eva. I have 3 daughters, Eva, Sandra, and Reagan, and they have all helped me. So I'm able to share it. Anyway, my experiences with them, and they keep me going, see, and so Eva settled there, and in the area called Wilderness, so she's still there.
The first time you went to South Africa after you were found, because people thought that you had burned yourself on stage and committed suicide, right?
Okay, well, I wanted to get to that. I think one word is, how about the American term saying, he went up in the blaze of glory. So maybe the interpretation was such that it's possible, but maybe it was that kind of thing, and they say, oh, well, he burned himself, he burned out or something. So these words maybe are misinterpreted by other, so like that, as a means of putting some kind of what happened to him, you know. Yeah.
So you get, you know, so many years later, knock, 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 your face is on a milk carton on a website.
Okay.
You know, where is Rodriguez? People think you're dead. And suddenly you get this phone call.
Yes. And this is the hero of the film, I feel, Sugar Segerman. He's the one that starts this with 2 other people, Craig Bartholomew and Brian Curran. So it's complete strangers. So that's when it happens, say, 96. He comes to Detroit from New York and says, here, he's showing me this. And they've been searching and got a hold of Eva, and Eva got a hold of me, and so that started that. So it was an exciting time.
And so you were a TV producer, right, in Sweden?
Yeah.
And so your background was the production, so you were looking to make a movie about a great story, and you found something that's obviously taken a hold. You know, just to give my reference, when I was at Sundance, when I got there, you start to hear buzz about films. And the first thing I heard was about your film, and I had no idea what it was about. And I was invited to come to the showcase and to see him perform. And, you know, he comes on the stage and he opens his mouth and the place is just pin drop. So talk about the feeling to be able to capture something like this while he's obviously alive, because a lot of times these things happen, documentaries, after people pass. And the beauty of just feeling that emotion that I felt while people respond like we respond.
For me, this is by far the best story I ever heard in my life. It's like a Cinderella story, but you know, it's even better than Cinderella. Cinderella didn't have such a great soundtrack.
She couldn't perform like
she was just pretty. You know?
That's the quote of the day. Cinderella was just pretty.
Which is not a bad thing to be, I think. Wait. Oscar Wilde says, beauty is a form of talent, and so that's okay. Not to worry. Don't let
I'll let Cinderella know.
Well, this is rags to riches story. I think
It
it's
is.
better that way than riches to rags. So I'm happy with the theme idea.
So it was just, I kind of knew that this is the best story I will hear. Now I need to make a film that is as good as the story, which took 4 years to make. It's
4 years.
Yeah, it was.
And how did you support yourself during those 4 years?
I didn't. I didn't. I didn't buy clothes for 4 years. I didn't get any funding, so it was pretty hard. But to go back to your question about the feeling, it's it's overwhelming to, in a way. It makes sense because the story is so touching.
Right. And was Sundance your first experience with that kind of passion, or had you done a number of film festivals before?
Never, I'd never done a film before. And
that was it?
That was
no
my
film
first
fest.
film.
Was that your first one, Sundance?
It was the first film festival in my
life. So what a way to come out at the biggest independent film festival in the world like that.
I understand, Jonathan, there's 10,000 entries to that. So,
yes.
People are submitting there from all over the world, and so that's very outstanding, And he didn't know he was going to win. It's the People's Choice Award and the Global Documentary. So
because it's two stories. Rodriguez's story, he didn't know he was famous, and then there's the South African story. They know that he's dead. Literally, he's as famous as Elvis Presley, and he's as dead as Elvis Presley. So this big. It was in both, both in Rodriguez's life and for the South African, it was this huge resurrection of that, in a parallel world, you're someone else and you don't even know about it.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
would you please play a song for us on the Weekly Comment?
I'd be happy to. Thanks a lot.
you.
Jonathan, tomorrow.
Yay.
Let me tune up here. Are there stars out tonight? I don't know if it's cloudy or bright, 'cause I only have eyes for you, dear. I don't know if we're in a garden or on some crowded avenue, dear. You are here, so am I. Maybe millions of people go by, but they all disappear from you. 'Cause I only have eyes for you. Only have eyes for you. So thank you.
Beautiful.
How have you kept your voice so intact over all these years?
Well, I've been at this since I was 16, playing guitar. I've done the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the zeros, and I'm working on the 10s.
Wow.
And the voice is just, you gotta be, in this society, it is, as well know, you have to be vocal, you have to be verbal, you have to try and articulate, coherent, conscious, cognizant. So those words, and I have a lot of respect for the English language because it gets you through.
Now
So the vocal is, I'm a vocal. I work on that aspect of myself.
We were talking about this a little bit earlier. You made these amazing albums, and as in your song Sugar Man, you got laid off 2 weeks before Christmas.
Oh, the cause one, yeah. Yes. I get compliments from so many sources, like working people, young bloods come up and say, "That's the best song you ever wrote." And they smell like they've been drinking a couple of drinks, But I love them, in Newcastle, Australia, so I get a lot of different responses. Thank you for that.
But how did you keep writing? How did you kind of make the transition from being like, okay, that's not going to work out for me right now?
Oh, geez, that's, as I said in the film, nothing beats reality. It's just you confront that, and you have to put yourself on hold. I think everybody does in that sense of what they want to do, and they reach that point where they really have to make that decision. And I think I came to that point too. So, yeah, and working class. I'm a hard working class background, and they so hard work is not, I'm not a stranger to that, so I can do that easy.
So I had the pleasure of having dinner with you and Donovan.
Oh, geez,
at Sundance,
oh,
and so I just want to. I mean, I was like in awe of talking and watching you guys talk, and I kind of just laid back and just watched you guys talk.
He's such a spirit, because if you, and as a matter of fact, it's just like you. Tomorrow we were discussing about music. It's always with you. Well, a song I think, "Where You Loved Like Heaven." Now that's a nice riff, and everybody. It's just, and it's in our
Got chills,
consciousness.
yeah.
Just that little thing, it carries us. And wow, remember that tune, and it's 1970 or something, but it's very much you carry that with you, you know. And so, yeah, Donovan. Well, he's.
How's it been for you to meet some of these interesting people that you might not have come across in your life now?
Well, he was the icon of icons. You know, he came very, you know, he sat with us, and then it was so sweet, and certainly he's gave us his blessing and stuff like that, and so to meet these people on the road, I've met James McCartney. My daughter Sandra hung out with him, and they talked music, and I met Paolo Nutini.
Who's great.
And I mention him because he's such a new, and not only does he have the looks, which is okay, you know, and he has the pipes, he can sing, and that's good. And we need that. Well, the music will always be new, yeah.
Will you play one of your songs for us?
Sure.
Sugar Man, perhaps?
Okay, if you want.
That would be great.
Okay.
It's my new favorite song.
Well, maybe
it's a 40-year-old song, and
I have it on
feels
repeat.
brand new.
Okay, yeah, you know, it's just, I always describe it to Jonathan as a descriptive song, not a prescriptive one, because a lot of people misinterpret. So I say, get your hugs, stay off drugs, stay smart, don't start. So it's just a song about, and it's that scenario. So let me get into this now. Here it is. Sugar man, won't you hurry? 'Cause I'm tired of these scenes. For a blue coat, won't you bring back all those colors to my dreams? Silver magic strips you carry, jumper's coat, sweet Mary Jane. Sugar man, met a false friend on a lonely, dusty road. Lost my heart when I found it. It had turned to dead black coal. Silver magic ships you carry, jumper's coat, sweet Mary Jane. Sugar man, you're the answer that makes my questions disappear. Sugar man, 'cause I'm weary of those double games I hear. Sugar man, sugar man, Sugar Man. Thank you. Thank you very
So
much.
if you see one movie this summer, you must see this film, Searching for Sugar Man.
July 27th.
Thank you.
Blessings
New York, LA.
to
and
both
then,
of you, and you both deserve so much success with this film and your music. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for
And
Thank
we will
you.
see you guys soon.
All right.
And
Thank
don't forget
you.
soundtrack July 24th, and please see the film.
Please see the
so worth
film.
it. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Woo! Wow.
Powerhouse, huh?
It
gives you chills.
Chills all the way up and down my spine. As we said in the segment, the film opens on July 27th, and we are giving away 2 soundtracks and a pair of tickets to go to the Amoeba screening at the LA Film School on July 24th. To enter to win, check out the weekly comment on Facebook at www.facebook.com/commentmusic to win. Enter now.
So yeah, that was quite a thing. I got to see the movie at the Hamptons Film Fest, summer edition. Doc Alec Baldwin hosted the Q&A with Malik, and at the end, someone raised a hand and said, "Is there any chance? When can we see this guy?" And he's like, "Well, he's actually playing at a small club tomorrow night, but it's sold out. But maybe." And he turns around, and Rodriguez walks out on stage and does 2 songs, but he did not do Sugar Man.
No, Sugar Man.
Oh,
you
that's
can
special only on the
You
comment.
can see that on the comment.
So yeah, the movie's rolling out all across the country. It's one of the biggest doc releases I've seen in a long time. And if it's not in your market on the 27th, it'll come. So just
Please
wait.
go see it. It truly is
keep posted.
extraordinary.
So thank you guys for doing that with us. And now it is time for Jason Kramer, Pick of the Week. Let's take a look at the Orwell's Mallrats.
La la la.
La 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 la.
Absolutely love that. Hi, my name's Jason Kramer. I am the DJ tastemaker here on the Weekly Comet. That was a band called the Orwells from the suburbs of Chicago. We love this band. It is a brand new band, has the sounds of the Stooges and also Velvet Underground. You could give the success of this band to a website called Aquarium Drunkard that just kind of threw it out there, and from there it just became an amazing band for people. They were recently here in Los Angeles and weren't allowed to play at a lot of venues because they're kids, just right out of high school, so they had to do a lot of house parties. I know we mentioned it before, but I wanted you to watch the video on this one. Now let's talk about some of the bands that we saw recently here in Los Angeles and artists that we absolutely love. First one is Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean has a new album out called Channel Orange. This is an amazing album out on Def Jam Records. Now the Channel Orange album just recently came out, like I said, but it came out a week early because it was leaked. But because of that, people just absolutely loved what they heard. Jonathan, I know you in the past have worked with Drake. I'm sorry, with
Frank Ocean.
With Frank Ocean, as we do it here.
And we work with Drake too. You know, we love everybody.
Yeah, Frank, it's quite a story. Obviously, coming off of Odd Future, he's a really great story. Kid born in New Orleans, and he's really making a name for himself. #2 album in the country debuted this week.
Yeah, good pick, Jason. And love the Orwells.
Well, it was great. Well, the one thing I loved about Frank Ocean, we just recently saw him at the Wiltern here, and Drake did come out on stage there, and I'm singing in the audience, and the kids went nuts. But the thing about that I really like with Frank himself, doing the Odd Future album, which is a little different, you know, and he had the ability to come out as a new artist and really grab a new breath of fresh air for the kids out there. And one thing I did notice about this new album and also doing it live, everybody was there, you know, from girls to guys to kids to adults. It was just an amazing show out there.
He's got the buzz, man. He's got KCRW playing him. He's got mainstream African American radio playing him. He's got pop radio playing. He's hit that sweet spot, as they say.
Who else you got this week, Jason?
We have a band from Brooklyn called Conveyor. Now these guys are a wonderful band that kind of have this like bombastic electro pop thing going on. And one thing about Conveyor that I absolutely love is, you know, if you kind of put an indie music with a little David Byrne-esque into it, it just flows out for you. We'll have a video for them soon, and they're actually going to be playing at Origami Vinyl coming up this Saturday with Neil. We've had a guest here on the archive, so you could check that one out. And that's one of the bands that I absolutely love too. And they have a brand new release called Wolfganger.
Nice.
Nice.
So
we like it, man. We like the new blue set too.
I know. I'm liking you over there. It's a good look for you.
Well, thank you so much.
So,
well,
summer's
now
here, baby.
We have summer in the house, and we have a very cool show. Guest.
Lance Sloane, my buddy.
Lance Sloane, head of digital productions for Warner Brothers Digital Distribution. Please check out this trailer to H+.
Are you ready to connect to the world? Introducing H+. Information delivered directly to you 24/7, where you become the connection. H+. Tap in and can connect to your future.
You're a software superstar. Single-handedly changed the way people access the internet.
Are you offering me a job?
I'm offering you a chance to change the world again. The doctor was clear about H+. The implant.
It's an amazing technology.
I can use H+ to communicate with other people. Can they know what I'm thinking?
I was surprised when you messaged.
Did you know who I was?
Yes, I see your updates all the time. Wow, it's amazing.
But there's a giant invisible hand that's gripping all of this very tightly.
Mostly dead people everywhere. Nobody can save them now. We gotta take care of us.
Do you have any idea how such an accident could compromise our work?
You're not safe.
I know, but who's gonna keep me safe? You?
The company has nothing to worry about. He's a broken man.
I know I can fix it. I'm determined to do something right.
Science has failed this world.
people who refuse to death.
When you see what it can do for you and your tribe, you'll realize that no weapon will defend you better than this little implant.
Why have you come, Doctor? To warn us or scare us?
What is that?
So we're gonna save this world.
Lance
Intense.
Sloane, welcome to the show.
How are you, buddy? Good to see you
Wow,
again.
what I chills. Like, what a story.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
So talk about it. I mean, obviously your gig at Warner Digital is to find these great properties, find co-partners, and get ways to get these things made. But this is a big scale. Bryan Singer,
Yeah.
who obviously X-Men and huge movies. How did it all get going?
Well, I'd partnered with a group of guys over at Bandito Brothers, and we were making a movie called Act of Valor about the Navy
Great film.
SEALs. And you know, our whole ecosystem is really kind of just down and dirty, off grid. You know, make stuff for a price and kind of do it on our own without
Now,
the
by the way,
studio's help.
when he says that, he's talking about shooting on a real nuclear submarine. Okay, that's what Act of Valor was. If you haven't seen that movie,
Yeah.
Wow.
grossed
Yeah.
over $70 million, I believe, already at the box office.
Crazy experience. And during my whole time there, you know, I kept my ties with Warner Brothers and spent a lot of time talking to Kevin Sujihara, who oversees the digital side of the business. And he was really intrigued with what we were doing at Bandito Brothers. And Mick G had brought a project to us. It was kind of a prequel to The Terminator. And we did a budget on it, and everyone at Warner's like, there's no way you can do that for this price. And I said, trust us, we're going to do it. Mick G was behind it, and they kind of forced the physical production people to sign off on it because they were like, there's no way you can hit this. And we did. Ultimately, we delivered this really cool pre-log to the film. And they loved it. And we shot it with the Canon 5D. We were the first kind of guys. We were an R&D partner with Canon with that piece of equipment. And so we were the guys kind of out there, you know, I guess paving the way in the digital side, at least with the, you know, that was a consumer camera you could buy over the counter. And
Wow.
we shot Act of Valor. We shot a big chunk of that movie using that camera. And anyways, just after that, I met one of the people that was at Warner on the digital side, and she'd given me a script called Aim High. It was a project we did with
That's the
Mick
one
G.
you did with Mick G, right?
Yeah,
That's
and
on Facebook.
we're actually doing a second season of that, and that's on Facebook now, currently. And I read that script, and it was like, wow, this is good. And then she's like, oh, well, I have another one, this other one called H+. And I read that, and it was maybe one of the best scripts I'd read for sure that
Singer's
year.
production company had developed the
Yeah,
script
so
already?
they had developed it as a digital project from the ground up. And I was like, what's going on with this? And it's like, well, we're over in this home video division, and we're not making it. And Sujihara was like, hey, you want to come back and work with me? And I was like, I was trying to decide.
Whether it be indie producer or corporate guy?
Yeah, no, but I really love those guys because
Well, yeah.
you kind of get the best of
Or
both
just
worlds.
entrepreneur, right?
Well, for me, it was like they're, experimenting and trying things and want to figure out the distribution and all that stuff. And I read the script and I called him up and I said, hey, I'll come back. I want to do this. Can we do it? And he gave me the thumbs up, and that's kind of how it all started. It had been at Warner Brothers for about 2.5, 3 years, sort of in some form of development, but it was really just the filmmakers developing it. There was no committees, and not like it was one executive overseeing the whole projects, and that was the beauty of it. That, I think, was one of the key reasons I got excited about it. Is for once, in a situation like a studio, you're able to kind of develop something and make something truly in that spirit of independent film.
Which is hard to do in the
And
studio.
then
Doesn't
you said
exist.
it's 4 hours, and it's going to be in 48 different episodes,
Yeah, so
right?
it's a total of about 197 minutes of content, and it starts and it goes through to 48 episodes.
Wow.
An episode can be 2 minutes long, it can be 10 minutes long.
It's genius.
And I've seen, what did I see, an hour and a half of it. And it's interesting because the way it was shown, not everything made sense, but it also led you to question the intrigue of what's going on. And obviously the way you shot it in South America, right?
We shot it in Santiago, Chile.
Right, in
the
Chile.
whole thing.
And so you don't know where you are. It feels like otherworldly, but it's this world, but you're not quite sure where it's shot. And it's just a really fascinating piece. And so the digital frontier, right? A lot of people are doing shows, but to do them at this high quality and this level, what does that take, and how do you monetize that content?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's all a full experiment right now. It's like we're really trying to just push the envelope, and you know, that's the mandate, at least for us as a studio. It's figure out, you know, the best way to capture these things and do it for a price. I mean, that's, you know, big key why we have the freedom we have. And, but also push the envelope on how we distribute them, you know, and really looking at, you know, this show in particular will go out on YouTube, and it'll be part of one of the premium channels that YouTube has funded, and so we'll see, but it's ad supported. It's really, you know, the thing that's going to make it work is advertisers sponsoring this thing and people watching it. That's the bottom line.
Right.
So.
Wow.
It's a whole new frontier.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. I'm interested in the other project, why you chose Facebook.
Well, with Facebook, we as a studio we had launched the Dark Knight film, was kind of the first thing that we did in, you know, using that platform, and then we launched a series of, I think, 10 other films, and this was the third thing that we were kind of contemplating launching a series essentially on using the platform. But we did something a little bit different where it actually, when you watched it from your Facebook page, it pulled you in, you know, as a participant in the show. And basically, I mean, kind of just scratching the surface with it, where you actually had your profile picture kind of integrated into the show.
Wow.
So you were running for class president, or you were, you know, there were certain areas throughout the 6 or 9 episodes that you replaced. Like it could be John McHugh running for president, and there were posters all over the school. And
Vote for me?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And our plan was to actually have a situation where you could send that version of the show to your friends. And Jackson Rathbone, one of the stars of the show, just had Twilight coming out, so we had a huge amount of fans.
Right, I sat with him at the screening, right?
From his world, and Summit, the studio that released the Twilight movies, gave us some love. So, you know, we really thought, you know, it was just, again, an experiment and see, you know, what took off.
Last thing before we close is I want to just mention what happened and how the internet works with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Talk about the rebooting of the franchise, and this is a really great story.
No, it's beautiful. Hopefully you have time to hear it. But Mick G and I were looking for a director for Aim High, and this video hit, and it was on YouTube, and it was this Mortal Kombat video that just came out of nowhere, and you know, within I think a week he did 10 million views, literally on his own.
He made a video.
This kid, 26-year-old kid, Kevin Tancheron, and he didn't come out of any. You know, he did a movie called Fame, and he was a dance choreographer for Britney Spears and Madonna, and did some music videos, and so he knew his way around producing and directing and really distributing too. So he put this video out, and Warner Brothers, through our games division, was preparing to launch the game. I think it was the 13th edition of the game, and the minute the video hit, like the Warner Brothers piracy people were going to go and like, handcuff him and take it down and
haul him off to jail.
And it was like, well, wait, you know, and I sent the video around to, you know, the main guys in the company, and that video made its way throughout the company, and it was like there became these fans of the video, and this kid kicked ass, and he put his credit card down to do it. Long story short, we brought him in to interview him for the job for directing Aim High, and 3 minutes into it, it was like, we gotta make this kid's vision come alive, and we had 4 months to the launch of the game. And I actually took him and walked him over to the co-chairman's office and knocked on the door, and they were in a big meeting, and I should have been in trouble, but I was like, they were like, what's up? And there was like 20 guys in the room, and I'm like, oh, this is the kid, this is Kevin Tancheron. They all got up.
You bum rushed the meeting.
Oh, it was great. They all got up, and Kevin Sujihara was like, what are we doing with you? And I said, well, we were going to talk to him about Aim High, but I want to try and bring his vision to life and have it kind of correlate with the game when the game comes out.
For a web series.
For a web series. And sure enough, I'm literally 4 months from meeting him to when we launched the first episode of the series on Google and really YouTube and Machinima. It was 4 months. And we rolled episodes. We did 9 episodes. And
internet time.
I think we've done almost 80 million views to date.
Unbelievable.
Which is
And now what's going to happen?
So, I mean, that was the big question. Like, what do you want to do next? And for me, I want to do a second season. And we're gearing up for that right now. But the studio started to look at it and say, you know what, maybe there's something here as a feature. Yeah.
A feature.
And that was his whole goal. That little
he knew what he was doing.
For whatever, $7,000 on his credit card. It was an audition tape for the job of director. And God bless the
was
studio.
that an audition tape or we're sending you to jail?
Yeah,
you take
he took the risk. He took the risk.
It's a great story.
So,
now
we
should get him on the show.
You know, we're making the feature, and he's at the helm, and we're still in green light committee, so it's not 100% yet. But
that's what studios look for. They look for their franchises they own to reboot them, and this is a
the
perfect
beauty
example
is
how the internet did that.
Yeah, sorry, but the beauty for me is that this kid stays with the movie. We're gearing up to do a second season of the series on the internet, and he can work on both. But really, we're creating a home for a filmmaker, and that to me is,
which is amazing.
It's kind of
and that's why we love you, man.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
It was really
Such
fun.
a pleasure.
Your show's great. It's like a modern day Regis and Kathy Lee. That's like
I wouldn't go that far.
Hipper.
I'm almost as old.
I was doing you guys a favor.
You're almost as young as her. It works out
I thought I was like coming to help you out, and I'm like,
aging.
how the hell did I get on here? Like, you got all this Frank Ocean. You got all this cool music. It's like, damn. You guys got
Thank you to everyone for tuning in.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next week. Next week we have Laura Warshower on. She's going to be our singer-songwriter in the house, and we're going to have a very special director. So you'll just have to tune in and see who that's going to be.
Love you.
Bye.